Each year, hundreds of kayakers travel to Idaho to take on the North Fork Championship. It's a race that many people claim as the crown jewel of whitewater kayaking. It was on a brief break since 2022, but this year it was back with 200 kayakers, all of which were battling for North Fork King and Queen. The title went to a local paddler who first fell in love with the sport as a child and never let go of that dream. So, of course, Abby Wilt sat down with the champion to hear his story and what it took to get here.
Kayaking is the thing I love.
For Tad Dennis,
I got into kayaking when I was 7 years old.
Life has always revolved around the water.
Both my parents canoed, but my mom didn't like carrying around a heavy canoe, so she started using a kayak, and I started getting in a kayak at 5 or 6, and really wanted my own and got my own at 7, and then went from there. I had to wait till I was 10 years old until I could do the local kind of clinic or class that was near us, because that was the minimum age for the kayak instruction they had.
By 12, he was racing on the Chattahoochee River near Atlanta, where he grew up. About a decade later, he made the U.S. team in slalom kayaking, which is going through gates on the water.
I was on the U.S. team for at least 10 years, and we'd go race in Europe and things like that. I never quite made the Olympics, but racing the World Championships every year.
Then, a trip to Idaho changed everything.
In 2016, I moved in an RV full-time, and I came out here for my very first North Fork Championship and got second place that year. And that's what made me fall in love with this river and this event.
He and his wife moved to the Gem State with one goal in mind: to race the North Fork Championship again and win. The North Fork Championship is known as the crown jewel of whitewater races, bringing in about 200 of the world's best kayakers to the North Fork of the Payette River.
It is known as the hardest race in the world.
So he started training.
I don't know if I'd call it training so much as going out and having fun.
But those Payette Rapids weren't the toughest obstacle he'd face.
I had a big wake-up call in 2023 when I found out that I had a brain tumor, and it was it was a big deal. During the time before I actually saw the doctor and saw the scans that I had a brain tumor, it was terrifying. I thought maybe that it was the end.
Doctors removed the benign tumor, but his mindset had shifted. He was ready to fully commit to what he loved, and that was kayaking full time.
There's things that I wish I had done in life, and some of them were winning this race.
2 years later, he did just that.
And what does it mean to you to be the North Fork champion now?
Oh, to be the North Fork champion, I mean, it's a dream come true.
And for Dennis, the victory is about more than the title of North Fork King. It's about turning a childhood dream into reality.
I realized that kayaking was the thing that I loved, and so I fully committed into it, and extremely happy with how it turned out. And I live, the perfect life.
One rapid at a time.
I just kind of followed the dream you'd have as a kid, and everything worked out, even better than I can imagine.
He also designs his own kayaks now, so he says the next goal is to win the North Fork Championships in a kayak that he designed himself.
This is such a thrill to watch. I get kind of nervous just even watching it because rafting was enough for me. My big question for you, though, did he have any advice for maybe kids who are wanting to get into kayaking and even compete to this level?
Yeah, well, he said Idaho's the perfect place to be. As we all know, there's something for every different skill level here. So he said, get out there. He said, get lessons, start learning. He said, you have to convince your parents to get you the lessons.
Yes.
So he was like, maybe bring them along and then they can see how much fun it is. And then he just said, go to a local kayak store, get the gear and go for it, but go with other people at first, because he said, obviously, it can be dangerous and tricky to navigate. So make sure you're keeping safety first, but also having fun.
I think that's great advice. Yeah, be careful. Those are some crazy rapids he's racing, so kids do not do that right away.
But also, he said, follow your dreams.
Yeah, I like that. All right, Abby, thank you.